waiting. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this week's Star Report. Thank you, Zoom, for doing weird things and moving little OK buttons around. Today is January, not June. I was like, it's June 10th. No, it's not. It's January 10th, and it is 2024 already, they tell us. The sun energy this week is low, which is probably that low energy that you're feeling. Could also be record cold snaps through the center of the United States if you are in the US watching me. But nothing much happened. Nothing much happened on the sun. There was a couple minor flaring, and the coronal hole passed through with pretty much uneventful. So the sun has got low energy. So when that sort of happens, we're going to feel low energy because the sun sort of funds the electromagnetic environment we live in. And so when it is not giving us extra energy, we feel lower. Sunspots usually produce solar flares or should produce solar flares. And when they do, just a reminder, those are going to cause a little bit of anxiety, some higher heart kind of things right here in the thymus. And then coronal holes are going to feel like a compression or a heaviness. Both of those can trigger mental breaks or mental issues if you have them already, right? They can trigger chronic diseases and flare-ups of those things. But those have been low. So if you've been feeling healthier through that stuff, that's probably why. We are still in Capricorn season, and Capricorn season, Capricorn is the sea goat. But we'll be in Capricorn till January 20th. FYI, Capricorn is ruled by the planet of Saturn, which is why both of them are about responsibility and structure, long time goals, discipline, which is why a lot of people perhaps might think that setting goals for the year is a good thing to do because the energy of both the astrological sign and the planetary system Saturn are influencing the human mind at that time. And so it's kind of like going with the flow. It is the time to do it. Now, when people start to fade away from their New Year's resolutions towards the end of the month, it's because Capricorn goes away. So you probably want to start setting goals before Christmas and get right in on having the 21 days, which is the lowest average of being able to set a new habit. So you can get those days in of the habit before Capricorn season goes away. We currently only have one retrograde, yay! And that one retrograde is Uranus. And Uranus will be, I believe, in retrograde until January the 27th. Yeah, January 27th of this year. And so it would have started in August, I believe. And you want to pay attention to, I like that word that I wrote down there, but I wrote it really small. Being honoring your own soul, and then open to change. So this is your own. Oh, that's the word I was looking for. Inner. Where else is your soul? Sometimes your soul's outer. So inner soul, right? Really, who are you in this self discovery, right? So what have you learned about your cosmic self, your outside of time and space self, your self that hasn't been conditioned by education, by environment, by trauma, all that stuff. There's a core of you that Uranus helps us sort of discover when it goes in retrograde, and so that's going to be in retrograde till the end of the month. So pay attention to that. And then Capricorn, energetically or alchemically, as it were, it has a representation in the body, and that is going to be the lower three sacral vertebrae. And so when we breathe, there is just a slight little expansion in those three vertebrae, also in your skull. And so when we do that, that sort of stirs the ability to move energy. Right. And so Capricorn being the sea goat, it has a correspondence to Aries, the ram. And so what happens during this season is sending that inner soul energy back up from whence it came into the crown chakra and even higher, and sort of having correspondence where you've told your body and therefore your energy system the world you'd like to live in, and then your response here during Capricorn is, hey, here's how it's going. And so pay attention to sort of that energy. With that being said, I think we're going to move on to Wednesday today and go into the stars. Saturn is what's really dominating the energy today. So set up that discipline. Middle of the week, maybe you can sort of even revise how that discipline's going. Maybe by Wednesday, you've done too much, and your exercise, your diet, your scheduling, your calendaring. I know I always want to get better at calendaring, and I don't. Um, I like to be a free spirit. I'm a metaphysician. I talk about stars and all that fun stuff. But um, just like having a habit, when you do a habit on a regular basis, it starts to become easier and you become better at it. And so maybe I should pay attention to my own advice about that. I do that with all the things I do. Like, so I meditate daily. And so the things that you do more often become easier, and they also become more momentum behind them, and therefore they become more powerful. And so if you're feeling midweek like you want to give up, maybe readjust so that you can continue in a smaller smaller measure of what you're doing, so that you can keep doing it, because doing it a little all the time is going to be better than doing it really hardcore and then stopping, or doing it really hardcore every once in a while. FYI. Leads us into Thursday, which is an 11 master day. Also, the new moon. So that would make it Thursday would be the 11th. Oh, so it's all kinds of ones in the calendar and in the energy field. And that new moon is really going to help us let go of 2023. And it really is sort of a good starting point to really embrace the number eight. We're in an eight universal year, abundance, completion, infinite possibilities, right? And so if you are feeling that last year was a dud, maybe you want to dream bigger, not dream less, right? And so, and then measure out those steps, right? I just told you to do less for your stuff, but do it all the time, right? So that's going to give you the bigger results. So we need to dream bigger as far as what you want to have happen. And those things are really good for resets on new moon. New moon is the dark moon. So if you look up, there shouldn't be anything for you to see. And so, what are your intentions for 2024? And then the dragon year, dragon is sometimes also associated with Kundalini, which is going to coincide with Capricorn being there at those lower sacral vertebrae, and then that idea of energy of that spiraling energy up the spine up into the crown chakra. Sometimes that sort of is associated with a serpent or a dragon, and you want to pay attention to the dragon year. It is a wood dragon, right? So maybe being grounded into nature will help activation of your Kundalini for the year, if that is something that you aspire to. Which leads us into Friday, which is about really you're going to be contemplating the hidden things that you find out on Thursday, right? So whenever we're in this dark space of the new moon, and we're working on ourselves, all of a sudden we have these new epiphanies that we're either deep, dark, and hidden, or we have avoided. So Friday, you're going to want to spend the day paying attention to the meanings that you discover about why you do those sort of things. I came up to these when I research these things for the week. I come up with things for myself, and so I was thinking this week, oh yeah, I should just. And then as soon as I focused on what are these deep dark things that I'm hiding from myself, and they're not necessarily bad. It's just sort of understandings that were dealt with earlier, but have a deeper meaning, right? And so if you've done any kind of like shadow work and you're like, oh yeah, I fixed my relationship with my parents, or I healed my inner child, but a lot of times those issues and how that would have been functioning out here don't necessarily get the same focus, and so you have an epiphany that a thing that you were doing up here never went away even after you fixed something because it was a habit. And so it was something you need to sort of grab out of your practice and get out of the way. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about hidden in the darkness, right? So it's all of a sudden there's a synchronicity of a habit or a practice that you've been doing that you didn't know why or that isn't effective, and you find that out when the new moon happens. Saturday, that new moon or the moon itself is going to be closest to the Earth all month, and lunar energy is really more feminine, gives more capacity. Right, the sun is golden and the moon is silver, and those are uh, traditionally associated with masculine and feminine energy, right? And so when the moon is that close, you're really able to get into the emotional field and repair the emotional body, and you're also able to have the capacity to hold more energy, right? You want to think of the feminine energy is the ability to encompass, to have things grow in your own energy field, your womb. And so that's Saturday's energy. Sunday ain't much happening. So go ahead and do what you want on Sunday, I guess. Pay attention, obviously, if you can find you a weather channel for the sun, pay attention. Usually when the sun's doing nothing and I tell you, oh, it's going to be fine, everything's fine, there'll be some eruptions or events in the sun, which will cause triggers. So pay attention on Sunday. You could probably find a day of rest on that, but maybe not. Maybe it's the sun doing stuff. And then Monday into Tuesday is really your intuition is going to peak. You're going to, I don't want to say see through everybody's bullshit, but it's all of a sudden like you're going to see ways forward, and you're going to see it's almost like things become more vivid, and you will be able through this intuition that becomes evident, right? And so this is also intuition is really triggered by activating the crown, right? So this energy from Capricorn moving up really gives you you want to think intuition's probably about 2 fists above the head, maybe even a little bit behind. And so that's where you'll sort of like, oh, I sort of have this idea and it feels like it's back here. That's where your intuition's really stemming from. And you'll all of a sudden be able to see through your intuition a clearer path, and you can start to all this planning if you haven't been acting about what are your intentions, what are your goals, uh, will become evident through this intuition, things that you can choose to move forward. And so you can if you're waiting or haven't acted yet, Monday and Tuesday are days to act because your intuition is going to be strong. And so you want to, if you've been doing the work, trust yourself over um, seemingly contradictory facts. All right. Your intuition is going to lead you where you need to go, even if it doesn't look like that's logically a place that you've decided to go or would like to go. I think that's it. Of course, we're here at the shop. I'll be gone the last week of the month. So I might have to alter my schedule of doing these little videos. Maybe I'll do them in the evening or the day before. So pay attention to that. Or maybe I'll just do it on the road. And of course, I'll be here in the shop. If you would like to come by and see us, we're in downtown Brenham, Texas, newdimensionscrystals.com. If you are having a hard time adjusting with any of this stuff, and or maybe you're having a great time and you just want a little bit of a push or a nudge or take a little break, you can sign up for a session. Of course, you can still sign up for breath work and any of the energy sessions. And I think that's probably everything I have to say for this week. Until next week, everybody, many blessings.